This video contains a lengthy discussion about suicide. If you or someone you know is struggling with suicidal thoughts, please get help. You are not alone. There's something about Abbas Kiarostami's 1997 film Taste of Cherry that I am obsessed with. You see, most films that touch on the philosophical themes of life and death usually convey their argument through conflict and dialogue between two or more characters. And while Taste of Cherry is no different, there is something odd in its approach. In other films that talk about religion and suicide, like for example Paul Schrader's First Reformed, characters are deep and have multiple problems that lead them down a tragic path. Kiarostami, however, strips his protagonist, Mr. Badi, of almost every single layer of backstory. The only thing we know about him, apart from the fact that he wants to commit suicide and needs somebody to bury him, is that he was a soldier in the past. Having such a bleak and empty character at the heart of your story forces you, the spectator, to only consider the objective truth. You cannot take subtleties into account. You cannot split hairs or be subjective about his motives. You don't know if he's rich or poor, you don't know about his political background, you don't know about his family situation. You know nothing about the main character of the story. Kiarostami uses Mr. Badi to embody the main theme about the film as literally as possible, so that you don't question the ifs or the whys of his desire. The only thing you know is that he is intent on ending his life. To create conflict, Kiarostami works with archetypes. He introduces characters such as a soldier, a seminarist, and a historian. Because their views are so obvious and clear, again, you cannot focus on the subjective wants or needs of the character. Each person is a symbolic representation of a different sector of society, and the conflict stems from the moral viewpoints that each character holds, not from their wants and needs. Arguably, the film can be read as a battle of the past versus the future. You see, the soldier and the seminarist both look forward in time to search for answers. Militarism tries to anticipate the movements of the enemy. Religion tries to anticipate the return of a messiah. But the taxidermist, who works in a history museum, is surrounded by the past and has learned to look to it in order to do his job correctly. This acquired retrospection is what actually ends up penetrating Mr. Badi's armor, as the taxidermist tells him the story of his own suicide attempt.
آقای محترم، شما فکرت مریضه، خودت سالمه. باشه عوض کن فکرت آقا. رفته بودم آقا خودکشی بکنم. یه توت من اینقدر عوض کرد. یه توت که شما حساب نمیکنی. آقا دنیا جوری دیگریه، دنیا وقت دیگریه. تو عوض کن فکرتو. دنیا را عوض کن. خوش ببین همچی را. خوب ببین همچی را.
All in all, whether or not Badi commits suicide is not even really important to the film. The ambiguous ending is left purposely open. Even with the stunning photography, the fantastic dialogue and the wonderful acting, the real achievement of Taste of Cherry is how it conveys its themes through its characters. As I interpret it, at least, the point of the film is that in order to comprehend one's future, one must learn by looking at their own past. The taxidermist, Mr. Barreri, is the first person Badi encounters who is concerned and deeply empathic towards him. He plants the seed of reasonable doubt in Badi, who is so intent on killing himself that when he returns to look for Barreri, it feels to us like a little victory. It doesn't matter if he's saved or not, but what does matter is that he doubts, if only for a moment, what he's about to do. He observes the city and the hills, the children and the trees. He sees the beauty he's learned to ignore. and for a moment, he appreciates life. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. I will be doing more videos on other films I love in the future, so stay tuned.